Everyone, what's up? It's your boy Christopher Loki Collins. I'm trying to do it through this way to see if maybe I can get a little bit more time. So I was coming on here to make this video to talk about something personal about myself, kind of like let you guys know a little bit more about me. So just in case that's like doing that whole 15-minute thing, I'm gonna just get down to it. So as you all know, I am 5 months and 2 weeks on my testosterone. I'm technically, I want to say 7 or 8 months into the beginning of my transition because it took a while to get on testosterone because I wanted to make sure with my seizure disorders I'd be okay. So basically, what I want to talk to you guys about is the fact that back when I was younger, I lived in Anderson, and not only was I verbally and emotionally gay bashed, I actually ended up being physically gay bashed. I had somebody who went to my school that did it. And I was bullied a lot in school. The mental and emotional stuff got pretty heavy. I pretty much asked for help because I got really close to either killing myself or revenge, I guess you could say. So I actually asked my mom for help. I said, I really need to get help or else something bad's going to happen either to me or other people because of what's going on. So she went and she got me help. But then after that, I ended up having an experience where one of my best friend at the time uh called me one day, and I was just kicking it at the house, and she was just like, hey, this person, T's over here, and she goes to your school. Sorry, I don't want to do whole names and whatnot. She goes to your school, and I know about you, and I'm okay with it, but I'm starting to like kind of get this feeling that maybe she's kind of flirting with me, and so I was just kind of wondering, is she gay too? And I was just like, well, I don't really feel like it's my place to say, but at the same time, if I can trust you, you're my best friend, I should be able to trust that you're not going to say anything. So I did. I told her straight up. I was like, yeah, she is. And I didn't think anything of it after that. I honestly believed she wasn't going to say anything. And so I just kind of started to go about my day. Not even 2 or 3 minutes after I hung up, she called me. She was like, hey, you should come over and hang out. And I was just like, I don't know, if T's still there, I just don't think it's a good idea. And she was like, oh no, don't worry about it. She's already left, it's just us. And I was like, okay. So I went over there, and as soon as I sat down, T came down the hallway and around the corner with one of her guy friends and was just like, hey, hey Chris, what's up? I just realized I've never taken the time to get to know you or really talk to you. So what do you say, we go back in the room and talk? And I was just like, a little hesitant at first, but then I was like, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. So I went with her, and as soon as I got in there, the door was closed. Her guy friend was against the door. I noticed that my other friend, little sister, was sitting on the bed. She couldn't get out. Nobody let her out, actually. None of the two people in there that should have let her out stopped to even think about it. So she was probably about 4 or 5. So I definitely, every time I think about this, I kind of wonder, who she became today after seeing that. Did she become that same type of person? Or did she become more of an advocate against actions like that? And so, needless to say, I ended up against a wall and a window, and had the shit kicked out of me. I ended up, my face was covered in blood. I got lucky that she didn't break my nose. Really, I mean, I had cuts from her rings. I was just fucked up by the time I left. Um, I was not only socked in the face, but I was socked in the rib cage really hard a few times. Um, and I broke down and I started crying. Like, I really honestly didn't think I was gonna get out alive. And it was one of the scariest situations out of every bad situation I've ever been in. That I can honestly say it was the scariest for me. Um, and I got lucky. I got out alive, and I think the only reason why I got out alive is because some other guy just like showed up and ended up getting in through the door, getting into the room, and sat there and was just like, T, stop, stop. If you don't stop, you're gonna kill her. And it stopped. She stopped. She let me go. He walked me out the door, out the fence, and he was just like, whatever you do, do not turn around, because if you do, you will not get out of here alive. Me being the person that I am, ended up like split second after that, ended up turning back around. Just, I wanted to say thank you. That's really what I wanted to do. And he was, boom, he was gone. Um, I ended up actually finding out later that supposedly this strange guy that got me out of there was never really there. So even though I am not a Christian in any way, shape, or form, I just chuck it up to somebody out there's looking out for me. Um, and then I ended up making it to my mom's church, and as soon as I got through the door, I passed out, covered in blood. I woke up to everybody in her church around me, um, and ended up being rushed to the emergency room, or not the emergency, yeah, the emergency room. And when the doctors saw me, it pretty much came down to I was lucky, one, because of my seizure disorder, that nothing worse happened. Like, that I ended up in a fucking coma or dead, basically. Um, from being hit in the head as many times as I was. So, I ended up with just a busted rib cage, just my face tore up from, like, the rings and whatnot. Um, physically, it did a lot of damage, but I would honestly say that emotionally, it did way more. Mentally and emotionally, it did way more. Um, because once I got out of the hospital, I did not go to school. I did not leave my house. I wouldn't even walk out the front door for a good 2 or 3 weeks afterwards because I was just so scared about whether that person was going to come back around or not because the police never fucking found her. And I didn't think, I couldn't do it without having any kind of anxiety. Um, so after a while, I ended up having to go back to school. And since we both went to the same continuation school, the way they did it was some students came in the morning, and then once the afternoon hit, other students came in the afternoon, and the ones that hit in the morning went home. Problem with this whole theory, though, is that one, the girl who ended up bashing me did not get kicked out of school. The principal, for some weird reason in his head, thought it would be a good idea just to split us up, just make sure he doesn't have us on the same track. Like if she's in the morning, she goes in the morning, and I go in the afternoon. Back in my mind, I don't understand even to this day the logic behind that because the same time I'd be coming to school would be the same time she'd be leaving. So I don't know how the hell that was supposed to fucking keep me safe. I really don't. Um, I don't know. It kind of like taught me that to an extent when it comes to small towns, especially like continuation schools, they just don't give a shit. Because if they did, that person wouldn't even be allowed to set foot back on campus. But I guess if you're in a continuation school, then the rules are different, which is fucking ridiculous. But that's their situation, I guess. I wish I had fought it harder, honestly. I think that if I had actually fought the school system on that maybe things would be different and better for somebody else like me that might end up going there. But I didn't. I was young. I didn't know any. I didn't think about it. I just thought about me. God, I hope I make it to like be 80 years old or something. Um, so basically, what it comes down to is with that situation, it has had a very heavy toll on my life. Um, I don't always get anxiety, but I do tend to get more anxiety when I'm in bigger crowds or around situations that I don't know people or I don't know like the situation around me completely. Because I used to be a very trusting person. I'd make friends with anybody really that like wanted to be friends. But I think after that experience, I started thinking more and trying to get to know people more before considering them a friend because I wanted to make sure that I didn't get hurt like that again. So, yeah, I pretty much kind of have my guard up sometimes. Or, I don't know, I guess my fiance would say a lot of times. But, yeah, I'm sorry about the lighting. It's starting to get kind of dark in here. Hey, baby, can you do me a favor? Thank you. Um, so that's just a little subs about where I'm coming from. Um, I've also always been kind of a self-harmer. I tend to physically punish myself when I emotionally can't take anymore. When I was younger, it used to be because of my past when I lived with my biological mom when I was way younger, before I lived with my dad. Um, her my stepdad. I don't even like calling him that really because he's just a piece of shit. He was just a very physically violent and abusive guy, and basically I could get in trouble for just about anything, even something I didn't do, which would end up in me being physically hurt. So when I went to live with my dad and my stepmom, I had a lot of issues. I think they said that one time I thought I was in trouble with them, so I went upstairs and decided to punish myself by hitting my head against the toy chest, which means I got like a scar on there somewhere for that. So yeah, so it mainly started with that. Like, I guess what it comes down to, since I like to be, honest with you guys. If you guys are gonna take this journey with me, you might as well know a little bit more about me. Um, for a lot of my friends who watch this, they already know this about me, but I am a cutter. I've got quite a few scars of cutting just because I can't deal with emotional shit. If it gets too much emotionally, I need to feel a different kind of pain, like a physical pain, just to get my mind off of the emotional. Which I know isn't exactly the healthiest thing to do, but we all have our fucking coping skills. So who are you or I to judge the other person? Um, so yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I noticed that since I started my transition, though, I haven't had any cutting incidences that I'm aware of. Have I? Since I've actually started my transition with the tea and everything, I haven't had any cutting issues, right? Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I've had thoughts, but I haven't actually done it, and I don't know if that's because with me starting my tea, it's actually this starting like my actual transition, and I'm starting to feel more complete and more whole and more happy with myself. So that might have a lot to do with it. But as a famous person once said, that's also a cutter. It's always going to be there. Sooner or later, that person's, you're going to break, and it's going to happen. Hopefully, it won't, and hopefully it won't. And if it does, hopefully it won't anytime soon, because I really have a lot of good stuff going on. So there's really no reason for me to do that or to use that as an outlet. Um, but exactly. But I also feel like I also felt like for the longest time, I'm starting to get over that what happened to me as far as the gay bashing went, especially the physical gay bashing goes. As much as it sucks and has been a part of my life, I guess I could say that it's also starting to make me a stronger person. I mean, I've been weak for a while because of it, just because I've always just been scared about like who's that next, who's the next person who's going to do that to me, how far do I have to go to protect myself? And luckily, since I've been living in Sacramento, I haven't had any of those issues, so that's pretty cool. I honestly can say that. Maybe it's just California. Maybe it's just California, and everyone's just like, dude, there's so many people of different genders and different lifestyles, and huh? Yeah, eclectic. Everybody here is eclectic in some way. So maybe that's why. Maybe it's just because California is just cool like that. I don't know. Um. So yeah, I think that's about all that I had for you guys on that subject. Oh wait, no, sorry, no, I don't. That's not all I have. I basically just hope that this story, my story, can help others that have been through the same situation, help them know that it can get better. And that even if one person won't listen, just keep trying until somebody does, because sooner or later somebody's going to listen to what you have to say. And just try to remind yourself that just because people tear you down that way doesn't mean that your life has to end. It doesn't mean that you're weak. It needs to make you stronger. And when I say stronger, it's just keep in mind, like I said, that it is possible for things to get better. It's not always going to be so bad. Here comes the day. Thank you, baby. Oh, there you go. That's a little bit better. You guys can kind of see my face. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I just had to have a goofy moment. Um, Especially because our youth nowadays, they're going through some hard stuff, especially with bullying. And you look at instances like Columbine, for example, where those who are bullied take a different route, and in that different route hurts other people, not just themselves, but it hurts the people that bullied them, the people around them, and that victims' families, and all of that. Like, it's a big deal. Bullying is a very big deal nowadays, and between you having like just going down the street being like verbally, bullied or whatever, or going to school and being verbally bullied, it's I just had it. I'm sorry, I'm emotional right now with this whole conversation. Is it does have a drastic effect, and it's not an effect that only lasts for a period of time. It's an effect that will be there forever. It's an emotional scar that will be there forever. Plain and simple. And with the whole fact that you can be verbally abused in person, now you've got the whole cyberbullying, and then you got the whole text message bullying, and it's just getting out of hand to the point where there's just so many young, and I'm seeing this, young people, like young kids and young teens, who, for whatever reason, they're being bullied, are bullied to an extreme, to the point where a lot of them are committing suicide because they don't feel like they have anyone to talk to. They don't feel like they have anyone to listen. Some of them may have parents that just don't have the fucking time to hear what they have to say, but at the same time, just keep trying. Like I said before, keep trying. You will find somebody sooner or later who will listen to what you have to say. Don't give up hope, because like I said, it can get better, and I'm one of those people that's living proof of it. So with that said, thank you for your time. I hope you guys enjoy this video as best as you can, and I hope that you guys learned a little something about me. And with that said, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'm gonna head out and play me some CSI, because I'm cool like that. Nah, I'm just a dork. But anyways, love you all. Peace. Don't laugh.